Welcome back, everybody. Developing this morning, a widow and her children now suing the government over January's deadly D.C. plane collision that took the life of her husband, Casey Crafton. Crafton was one of the 64 people on board the American Airlines flight when it crashed into an Army Black Hawk helicopter carrying 3 U.S. Army soldiers. Crafton's family is now suing for $250 million. Joining me now in studio is founder and senior partner of Clifford Law Offices, Robert Clifford. He's representing Rachel Crafton. Good morning to you, sir.
Good
you
morning
prefer
to you.
Bob?
Bob is great.
I'll call you Bob. You appear to be among the first to be representing one of these families. Am I correct in saying that?
I believe so, but I hate to begin by correcting your banner. It's not a lawsuit. You cannot...
Claims filed.
It's a claims filed. There's a process. We have kicked off that process and started a clock. Under federal law, you cannot just simply go to court and sue the U.S. government. You must give a notice of intent to sue. It's called a Form 95, and it starts a 6-month clock that the government has to either accept your claim or reject it. Most of the time, they either don't respond to you at all or they wait until 5 months, 29 days.
And that's when you pivot to
a lawsuit that you can file only in federal court, only in front of a federal judge, and it's not a jury trial. And that's separate and distinct than any claim against a corporation like the airline, because yesterday, simultaneously with these claims being filed against the FAA and the U.S. Army, we issued evidence preservation letters against American Airlines, against PSA, against Sikorsky Aircraft, and Collins Aerospace. And these are all the parties to the NTSB investigation, which the families are not allowed to participate in. This is our way of making sure they know we're out here. We want this evidence. The families want answers, and we're watching.
They want justice, yeah. Thank you for that clarification right off the top. I'd be remiss to also not firstly ask about the family. I mean, you're representing a mom, 3 children. How are they doing this morning, and what does justice look like to them?
Well, justice looks like to them accountability, answers for why their dad, their husband, perished in a preventable crash. Even President Trump, the very night of the crash, said how preventable it was, and we believe that to be the case from all the evidence that we know. Listen, all of these families are suffering. They are grieving. They are getting on as best that they can. All these events about aviation of late certainly don't help them because it just re-triggers all the bad thoughts. I'm involved in these cases against Boeing, and I can tell you all those families from the Boeing crashes are reliving their experience just based upon what they see happening here in the U.S. and Canada.
Over again.
That's right.
What is the crux of your claims? What are you accusing the military, the FAA
Well,
of?
we're actually taking a little bit of a wait-and-see step. I mean, listen, a lot of information has come out of Washington about the performance of air traffic control and the confusion in communications with the military aircraft, with the helicopter, and also the communications with the inbound airplane. One of the things that's fascinating to us, though, is that we are going to look into is what we believe is willful neglect of all the airlines in allowing the commingling of this commercial traffic with the military traffic. It is our nation's capital. There are military bases there. The military presence of helicopters is a given, but it's been known for a very long time that that airport creates the opportunity for near misses. And that's precisely what we believe has been going on for years. And then finally, this terrible disaster has occurred. So not only are we going to examine what occurred that night and the communications failures that night and the activities of both pilots that night, but we're also going to be looking at the broader picture about the safety around that airport. Because don't forget this.
The ATC tower was only manned by one person that evening.
And it was overloaded. But let's not forget this. An airline has the highest duty of care to its passengers. They can't. You and I can't run a red light when we're driving our cars. They can't run yellow lights. And that's a real problem here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Quickly, before I let you go, timeline on how long you think this battle might take.
Well, we're going to use this 6-month period very productively to work with all of our families to develop the damages case. Because bear in mind what the courts will do. They will consolidate all of these families. It's not a class action. They will consolidate these families to understand and get to the bottom of liability and responsibility. And then each individual family and their lawyers will develop the presentation of the damages so that the families can receive and make a presentation about the very losses that they've sustained, both economically and non-economically, and seek the justice that they're entitled to under our law.
Well, Bob Clifford, please keep us posted. Thank you for making the time to come here in person in studio.
Friend. Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon. All right.